Hey guys, Break here, and whilst I pug a Mythic Plus 10 in this video, I'm just going to give you guys a quick idea of what I thought a cool new gearing system could be in the next expansion. If this is realistic, probably not, and is it going to happen? Maybe something like it, but it's pretty unlikely. Anyway, I thought this would be cool. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested in other sort of gearing systems because the current Titanforging, no one being able to get best in slot, all that stuff isn't great. I've told you guys my thoughts on Titanforging before and how I actually quite enjoy Titanforging to a small extent, say 10 or 20 item levels max. But you should not be able to get the higher gear than the Mythic Raiders, and there should always be an attainable best in slot. Anyway, that was a previous video. This video we're talking about next expansion. We're not going to have our artifact weapons, as Blizzard have already said, so what's going to be the new artifact power, what's going to be the new consistent progression sort of content that we have with AP and everything. This expansion, how we're going to do that. My thoughts were basically artifact power, but for gear. So what I want next expansion is gear can Titanforge / Warforge. I'm not that keen on it, like I say, but I don't think Blizzard are really going to go back on it. So what I'd like is a Titanforging system which can go up to 20 item levels higher. So 4 sort of bits higher, 20 item levels. But you can also upgrade your gear to that highest Titanforge level with artifact power. But it won't be artifact power, it'll be called gear power. I don't know what it'll be called. It doesn't matter what it's called. So basically, you have 0 out of 4, like in Obliterum, you got 0 out of 10. When you first get a gear, it will be 0 out of 4. But if you're lucky, it can be Warforged or Titanforged and be 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, whatever. But you can then upgrade it to the maximum of 4 out of 4 with artifact power. I feel that this would almost please every party. The people who do enjoy the feeling of a Warforged piece would still get that feeling. But the Mythic Raiders who don't like these so-called casuals getting their gear, that wouldn't be a problem for them because it can only Warforge up to 20 item levels, and the difference between normal, heroic and mythic I would make 20 item levels. It might even be 20 item levels now, I'm not certain. So I'd have, say, the normal raid at 900, the heroic at 920 and the mythic at 940. So that's the base item level, and then the normal can be either Warforged up to 920 or you can upgrade it up to 920. Same with the heroic, and then same with the mythic. So in a mythic raid, you still can get the Warforged, say 945, 950, 955, but you can also upgrade, and the max item level would be the 960, if you guys get what I mean. This would mean best in slot gear is now a thing again, because you can actually realistically get to the highest item level of Warforged, because even if you don't get the Warforged Titanforge, it's fine. All you have to do is upgrade your gear with artifact power, and then it would mean the more time you put into the game. I'm not saying we should be running more of Souls 1,000 times like we were doing at the start of the expansion, but if you do your world quests, if you do high level Mythic Plus, you'd get extra artifact power, which you can then put into your gear and upgrade it to get that best in slot. And I think that would be a really good system, and would actually give the higher level raiders a bit of an end game. We've seen unprecedented numbers of people quitting high-end raiding this expansion, and most of that is because, well, 3 reasons. The legendary system, which we'll save for another video. We cannot have the legendaries in the same light as they are this expansion. That would be another disaster. But raiders quit because of the legendary system, because of the artifact power grind at the start of the expansion, and because of the Titanforging issue and the fact that no matter how hard you try, it's basically impossible to get full-on best-in-slot gear, which I know is the goal for a number of high-end raiders. This would not only stop that problem, but actually encourage people to do the content. I think Legion has been a great step in the right direction in terms of encouraging people to do sort of random content, such as Mythic, Dungeon, Dungeons are relevant again, such as sort of the world quests. People still do those to try and get some AP. And then obviously all the cosmetics as well. And again, this would just kind of encourage that. You've got a piece of 910 gear which Warforged from a normal raid, but it can that means it's 2 out of 4, and you can get the other 4 out of 4 from doing some artifact power sort of activities. So you'd go and run some mythics, you'd do your world quests, you'd work kind of hard, and you would be rewarded by being able to upgrade and getting a 920 piece, which would be the base level heroic, and that'd be fine. You know, so you're excited, you've upgraded your gear, you know, you've actually contributed to the gear yourself rather than just RNG, but RNG also helped, and that would please Blizzard, who are kind of obsessed with RNG, and please the certain players that do really enjoy that kind of thing. But the whole point is it allows you to negate RNG. So if you really do hate that kind of thing, which I know lots of people, well, probably most people do, then it doesn't matter. Just put in a bit of effort and you can upgrade the gear yourself to as high as it would possibly be able to Warforged Titanforge. So the RNG no longer matters if you're willing to put in the effort. As you can see right now, we are failing miserably on this boss. I think I rage at the group in a bit, and we go again. But that's the thing, guys. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this mythic right now? One is to get the gear in the chest at the end of the run and the end of the week as well, the weekly chest. So both those things are kind of why I'm doing it. Also for the AP, obviously, but AP is a bit irrelevant now. That's the other thing. You know, artifact power is becoming more and more irrelevant unless you're in the super high-end raiding where you really want to get those concordance and those netherlight crucible traits. Okay, so they made artifact power a bit more relevant now with the netherlight crucible, but how many people actually like the netherlight crucible? I'm pretty sure no one does. And how many raiding guilds actually require you to have certain numbers of traits? Maybe the high-end raiding guilds, but you know, my guild raids mythic, they don't require us to do anything like that. Okay, we're pretty casual mythic guild, but still, it's not that relevant. But this would give me for example, if I could upgrade my gear, I'd still be wanting to do this content because I can increase my item level, I can increase my power, and it would make me better for the raids. I always like to look at this kind of content as a sort of filler for the raids. I know mythics are kind of on their own now as a thing with the mythic invitational and all that, but in between raids you should be able to do content that will contribute to your power and help you be better in those raids. You know, this is a raiding game after all, and I feel that this system would be the perfect system for that. As far as the specifics for this system go, I haven't quite got them all worked out, because I was wondering, are we going to have something like artifact knowledge where it increases over time? Or is it just going to be a consistent thing? You know, are we going to be able to upgrade our gear all at once, or can you only do a certain amount a week, like the Valor Point system was? Because this is sort of like the Valor Point system in previous expansions. But I also want it to be more like the AP, which is consistent sort of progress of your character. So I was thinking there wouldn't be a cap if you wanted to just go super hardcore and upgrade every piece of gear you have in a week, then you could do that. And then the other thing is, will you be able to save up artifact power? Like, will you be able to just learn it, store it to your character, so when you learn a new bit of gear, you can immediately upgrade it 4 times? Or will that then make the whole system kind of irrelevant, because everyone would just start piling up loads and loads of the artifact power, and then the second they get a new piece, it will immediately be 4 out of 4. So maybe there'll be a cap to the amount of stuff you can pile up. So you know, right before a raid, you could fill out your artifact power cap on your character. So when you get a piece, you'd be able to upgrade it twice. But if you wanted to do the other 2, you'd then have to go and farm. I don't really know how Blizzard would want to do it, how the players would want it. I'm not really sure about that, but that's something that can be worked on, obviously. But let's say you're running your mythic clear. Say you're 6 out of 9. And you got the first 5 bosses on farm. So you just run through those 5 bosses on the Wednesday or whenever you raid. Now the gear that you get from that, if it's not Warforged or Titanforged, for a lot of people it's just going to be irrelevant, and you're just going to disenchant it, or I don't know what you're going to do. Give it to someone you're selling a boost to, I have no idea. With this system, you could be like, hey, I need that. It's got really good stats. It's a nice bit of gear, or say it's a tier piece. Currently, it's 10 item levels lower than what I've got, but I'll work on it. I'll get it 4 out of 4 capped. It'll be 10 item levels above, and it'll be all worthwhile. So not only does it stop the disappointment of getting a piece that isn't Warforged, it also actually provides you with content and with a sort of goal to work towards. Especially, like I say, for those mythic raiders who a large part of why they play the game is to get the best in slot gear. You know, if you watch someone like Asmongold on his streams, he always talks about this kind of thing and how he loves like having the best in slot gear back in sort of Wrath or Cataclysm, and how you can't really do that anymore. So it's a bit sort of kind of puts him off raiding, and I think he's even stopped raiding hardcore anyway because of that. And no one can look at the system and honestly say, oh no, it still gives these casuals or all the mythic gear, it just lets them be the same as us. It really doesn't. If they get ridiculously lucky, or if they work really hard on their gear, they can turn a 900 piece into a 920. But like I say, that's all they can do. They're not going to get random 950 gear from LFR. That's not what they're going to do. Like I say, you can upgrade 20 item levels 4 times, either through the Warforge, or if you don't get that Warforge, you can work on it. And it will just be great, I think. I think it's a system that will suit everyone, or the most part of people. There's no system that will suit everyone. And it's a system which will encourage gameplay and lead to no disappointment like we have currently with the a lack of Warforging on a piece. You generally get disappointed. But yeah guys, please do let me know what you think. Probably get ripped out of it in the comments as usual, these sorts of videos, but like I say, there's no way to please anyone. If you guys have a better idea on how to deal with it, then please do say. Just remember, Blizzard seem kind of obsessed with the Warforged Titanforging, so just saying to remove it probably isn't helpful because I can't see them doing that. I'd prefer them to remove it than keep with the system they have now, trust me, but I just can't see them doing it. I think they think it's good for the game. Whether it is or not, I have no idea, but they obviously seem to think so, or I don't know why it would be still in the game. So that's it for this video, guys. Do leave your comments down below, and until next time, see ya.